was. It's a very sad...
Back on, Gerty Root, back again, Wednesday mood. Well, here I am, it's Wednesday, and I'm in a good mood. I'm always in a good mood, you know me. Anyway, charity boss Sophie Chanduka, the doctor, the eponymous Dear Doctor, has been bullied off of social media accounts. Oh, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Shall we jump in and see what's happening?
Very sad loss to the industry.
Oh, yeah, poor Val
Let's
Kilmer,
talk about
yes.
the latest in the Harry row, because things are going from bad to worse for the boy.
Oh, good.
I call him the boy. I probably shouldn't call him the boy. He's a grown man. Sophie Chanduka really seems to have his number, doesn't she? Because it now turns out that the Montecito Massive, hilariously, are suggesting that she's playing the race card.
Oh, my
which
God,
is pretty rich coming from them, isn't it?
Well, that's almost what her team says. Extraordinarily ironic, I think, was the exact quote that came from them. I mean, it's laughable. Almost.
I mean, to be fair, these two aren't intelligent enough to take on Dr. Chanduka, really. All they've got is the clout of the, as I keep going on about, the royal lineage that apparently he descends from, and is putting rank over all the time. But you think that old Grab and Blab here, well, I thought old Grabby was proud, strong woman. She can stick up for herself, but it appears that she always needs to field Barry into the position to go, she's probably on the floor crying. You know what it's like. Come on.
As Prince Harry's friend talking to the Daily Mail, saying, I have H's permission to talk to you.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Suggesting that Dr. Sophie is actually just jealous of Meghan Markle.
Oh my God, we've heard this before, haven't we? We have heard this before. And we're all aware that it isn't the first time people have... Gavin Newsom had to come out and apologise for something or other, and I think the president of Nigeria had to beg forgiveness for saying the wrong thing about her nakedness, because the women were so outraged that they'd never seen anything like the Marklet. And so she made a speech, being as how she was the Pres of Nigeria, or the Deputy Pres. I'm not sure, she might have been the Prime Minister. She was a high-up lady. So she gave a speech saying about it's not usual for nakedness. Women over here don't have to get by on flaunting their bodies because they're all of good character, blah, 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 blah. Words to that effect. And she then was obviously from somewhere, somebody changed her batteries, and she got herself back on stage and sort of gushed about how wonderful the Meghan Light was. It's just, cringe. Because if she'd have done her homework before she went to the country and she wasn't so focused just on herself, she would have known that that is against their culture, the way she was dressed. So, I mean, everybody knew it was against their culture, but, it's her, and it's thick as mince.
All of this stems from...
Come on, Grab and Blab,
Harry,
what are you up to?
You have found yourself in a pickle. And on the day where Meghan Markle is finally releasing her
Nacho.
jam, you know that there are jars of jam hitting the walls in Montecito.
Yes, never mind the jam, darling. Let's feast our eyes on Nacho. Lovely Nacho. Oh, he's gorgeous. But even there, they're being quite rude because she's the only woman on stage and they're all managing deftly to totally ignore her.
Today.
Right. I mean, it is incredible.
That was the year
They're not going
before
to be
that
happy bunnies, are they? Because there's nowhere for him to go, really, because he hasn't come out and said anything officially.
I wish they'd just
she
fuck her
hasn't
off.
come out and said anything officially. It seems as though they're now
Look at me! I've got my lips out again. It's all about me. I've got to make everything about me. It's all about me. Oh, it's so famous. And how blimmin' knows, what's her name? Dr. Nosy Chanduka? How she thinks she is. She's jealous of me. That's what it is. I've made it my mind up, Barry. I've made it my mind up. I mean, look at me. Look at me. I'm lovely and licious. Oh, I am. And this Dr. Chanduka. Bloody cheeky, isn't she? She's jealous of me. She wants to be me. Oh, my God, you cretin. Come on, Grab and Blab. What's going on?
Who is still the chairman of the Soso-based charity.
Right.
Basically, is running
charity
rings
was
about...
called a poisonous woman.
That's what I was...
I heard, well, I actually saw it myself. Sussex Squad aficionados, darlings, calling her a house word. And if you know anything about the deep south of America and how that rolled, there's a particular position of employment which was called a house Do you get me? I'm not going to say the word because I remember how Trevor lost his channel for saying the same word. So I'm not going to say the word. But they actually can say it because they're allowed to say it because they can get away with anything. And they called Dr. Sophie Chanduka a house word. That's just disgusting. And now apparently she's playing the race card. I think you'll find she's just being her. They've just unleashed the dogs of hell, haven't they? The hellhounds of Hades, as I like to call them. So really, she wants to... Where have you gone? Come back. She wants to take them all to court. That's what she should do. She should get onto the Elon Musk and find out who's behind the accounts and sue them. That's what she should do.
That Prince Harry gave up his entire life for Meghan Markle, dedicated an entire book to vengeance, tearing into his DNA because his feelings were hurt over his wife.
Oh, there's nothing that says Africa more than the charity polo match. Doesn't it you? When you see a load of posh knobs playing polo, don't you think of poor little orphans in Lesotho? You do. One thing sort of leads to the other, doesn't it? When you think of it, it does. Bleeding pods. Anyway, let's go.
His wife's feelings were hurt.
No one cares. No one cares.
And friends he's cut off.
My feelings were... I've been hurt feelings all my life. Do you know what happens? Literally nothing. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. And I suspect everybody that's watching this or listening to my tirade will probably sit there and think, yes, well, I've had my feelings hurt a number of times. Guess what? Nobody cared. It doesn't matter. It's somebody's opinion. And all the time you try and control other people's opinion of you, you just make it worse. They would just, well, detest you even more. And then when you go, I'm a proud, confident woman of colour, hasn't she got an award for that? Hasn't she got some sort of award in the past? Some cup, some medal, some badge or whatever it is they give the old malt? Yeah, for being a proud, confident woman of colour? Apart from when something's said that she doesn't like, and then she's just got to get hide behind her husband and then push him out. Oh, nasty to me, Barry. The woman is a bloody nuisance. And if she's not a psyop, then I don't know what is. I don't know what this woman is about. I don't know who she is. I don't care. I don't want to know. She's absolutely ruined a lot of bleeding British society and social media as well, when she's fielded her flying monkeys. All right, they're not as bad as the other ones that we all know about if you're around on my channel. There are one. They actually tried to join the Sussex Squad, and the Sussex Squad buoyed them off because they were too mental. And but they do the same thing. They call it trolling. It's a euphemistic word. Trolling. It's not cyber terrorism. It's literally terrorism. You become terrorised. I remember when I was in the thick of it last year going on there, and I've literally shaken with fear. Some of the things I've seen on there, people write. Obviously, I learned to get... Because nobody cared. Do you get that? Do you see that? Literally nobody cared. I cared, but nobody cared that I cared. Because it's not illegal what they're doing, allegedly, per se. It is when they're doing it obsessively, but the police don't really care about that either. So, you have to find your own ways to unenmesh yourself, let's put it that way. And I always believe in taking it to them, darlings. I do. Being British... That's the thing, in my opinion. And nobody wins all the time. I mean, they've been winning consistently for years. The Sussex Squad and the offshoots that try to be like them, that pick on people like Trevor and Fiona, Wally, several others, Sue Smith, Dutch, Sussex. I think Grifty's got it. We've all got it. Everybody's got it. They are just jealous, twisted because they're abject failures. And what subs they do have, they've bought. Their views never match their subs, so, and they just love hating. They love hating on people. And I get pissed off giving them ideas because I do something and they just copy me, so I try not to do anything now that gives these half-wits ideas. But what they were doing before I was even involved, I think they've run out now because the ringleader's name comes up on the police server. He gives his name, or you give his name, and he's got just a sign against it. The police are like, not that fucking idiot again. There seems to be some evidence that he's got some form of a nasty nature, let's put it that way. So that's what I'm talking about. So they pick the best people for this sort of bullying and cyber terrorism. They go into it like they've done with Sophie Chanduka. She's had to shut her account down. She's had death threats. Her staff have had death threats. They've had this, they've had that. Then they look up who your families are. They go on Ancestry. They go on the election register. They do this, they do that. Half the time they get it wrong, but the fact is they do it. They obsessively poke and pry into your background to traumatise you. And if they can find, say, you've been a victim of crime in the past, of serious crime, say a crime of serious sexual nature, then they splash that all up there to shame you. And it doesn't shame you, it shames them, but they think it shames you. And it's the fact that they think it shames you that makes them so bleeding twisted, because they really are sick. And they don't really like their own medicine, which is usually what happens. So I think what's going to happen here, I think there's going to be a big backlash against the Sussex Squad, and so there should be. I think every citizen across the world should stand up and say no to these people. And that bleeding, the ones that are on YouTube as well, they need putting in their place. They crawl all over my my channel, but I just remove them and hide them from the channel. You've got an option you can press so that they can post away. They can post 24/7, but I don't see it. They'll see it their end, but no one else will see it. So and that's the best way to treat them, really. Don't try and reason with them. Don't, talk to them or try and give another opinion. They're just best removed, like lice. You don't try and talk to lice and accommodate lice and become simpatico with a lice environment, darling, do you? No, what you do is you just get rid of them. So, and that's what needs to happen to the Sussex Squad. And while they're at it, maybe they could take Grab and bloody BLAB with them.
Due to his opinion that they didn't treat his wife well enough. Where is his wife?
Barry, you haven't got an opinion. You've only got an opinion what she tells you to have, Barry. Be quiet.
Right now, because a lot of the stuff that's being stirred up surrounds her. Where is Meghan to stand up for her husband?
Because she's a proud, confident woman of colour. She's self-made. Didn't she used to wash up at the Five and Dime or something? Oh, I was told I used to have to call in the back, so I was like on my crack pipe or whatever. I was so off my bonnet, I used to get in the boot of my car. She's just a menace. She's a real menace. A diva, a fraud, a fake. All those words that come to... Very much, actually, when you look at the backstory of some of the people I've been going on about. When you actually go in... Because I know who they are. I know who all of them are. And you go into... So they're all fake. They're all fake. They'll say they're this, and this, and you go and check their thing, which you can do though, check credentials out extensively, cross-reference and blah, blah, blah. They're all fake. They haven't got any of the credentials they reckon they have. And yet they bully the living crap out of people that really have got credentials and really have got this, really have got that. And are just enjoying themselves on social media, just having a little hobby, maybe like me, or making a couple of quid like other people do, to get by and raise their kids, something they haven't bothered doing themselves. They haven't bothered. I know the backstory of a lot of these trolls, and I think you'll find this with the Sussex Squad as well. They're all abject failures in their own lifetime and in their real world, but for some reason they all glean on the same subject of sticking up for this fake fraud. Whereas my newest word is grab and blab. That's what I'm going to call them from now on, grab and blab. She grabs, he blabs. So, yeah, and everything's got to be my way. I've got to be centre of attention. Look at me, I've got the cut and I'm just going to give Nacho a blowy. I really am. Oh, I am. Is that Nacho? Looks too good looking to be Barrington. So, something's going on and they're just bullying the hell out of her because she stands alone against them. Like she said on her interview, she comes with receipts. In other words, she's got the screenshots, she's got all the emails. He told her to stand up for his wife or something, make a speech. She said no. And she was very kind about it. She was kind, dignified, businesslike would be a better word. But she said she declined to actually make a speech about how she felt about Meghan, how she felt about Meghan pushing her around, telling her where to stand. Her feelings probably hurt, but then her feelings don't matter. It's only the Marklet's feelings. So Marklet caused something to happen, then that hurt the victim, and then the victim has to get up on the world stage and denounce the fact that her feelings were hurt. Oh, she might have pushed me around, she might have told me where to stand, she might have been really rude to me and offish, but it was all meant well. I deserved it, really, is what the Marklet expects to happen. She's beyond. I would be very disappointed if I were Prince Harry. Come on, Grabby. Thinking about all that I've given up
to support her and not feeling it in return.
Yeah, that's a very good point, which I hadn't really thought. But the Sun's front page this morning has got the next sort of chapter in the saga, which is that basically she has now, Dr. Sophie Chanduka has now come off social media because she's been subjected to the most awful, ghastly, vile trolling from the Sussex Squad. These are all the fans of Meghan who always jump all over anyone. I'm sure you've been a victim of it. I certainly have. Whenever anybody says anything that they don't like about Meghan, you just get this ghastly kind of, people wishing you dead and all sorts of other
you do get all that.
Right?
They went after a Texas state representative that they assumed was my father, trying to dox the both of us. Spoiler alert, he wasn't my father. Right. But I know...
Well, they went after some Labour politician that they swore was some commentator or somebody, a YouTuber. All he was a commentator that left the occasional comments on lives and that. They went into his past and they decided he was this gay Labour politician, ruined his life, and the guy had to shut his social media down. But the thing was, it wasn't him. It really wasn't him. And the guy who they thought it was quite unaware, quite happily still commentating away. And there's one lady on here that's always defending me, and I wish she wouldn't, because they're so sinister and bereft of any level of, or modicum of even sentient life, that they really think it's me. So whenever she says anything to defend me, they're like, shut up, Gerty, you know it's you, Gerty, when actually it literally isn't. I wouldn't sully my intellect or my brain, watching their lives with about 20 people or whatever, I had to look once because people told me to. People said, oh, look, it's only, I won't say the word, but it was only a woman at the time. There was no men there. Let's go over and say hello, see if she'll speak to you and see if she's all right, because she's led by the men, really. And so I did that, and she was sort of reasonable. But I was just being like me, and then she was thinking, because she used to want to be in with the big boys, but it seemed like way before I was ever on here, she'd annoyed everybody, so she's come back as a different iteration and attached herself to the cyber trolls. And if you know who I'm on about. And so I said hello, if it was nice, and then all the men started jumping in, so I just came out and thought, that's it. I don't want to know. I'm not interested. They've got nothing to bring to the table. But there is a particular Julianne, if she gets it, and they really think she's me. I mean, they are tripping on so much. It's unbelievable. They can't even conceive of a world where somebody maybe might disagree with them. And their 20 opinions, most of which are their sock accounts anyway. So, yeah, that's how they... And also, they come into bat for the grab and blab as well there. They use grab and blab as justification for bullying people as well. So, there we go. And, yeah, I'm wondering what they're going to do now. I mean, are they going to carry on bullying dear Sophie Chanduka? Because it just seems that anybody that says anything against the megalite, yes, you just got to be bullied up and including to death.
Exactly what she's talking about. Unfortunately, they'll probably consider this a win. I would say this is only temporary. She's a very strong woman. She'll be back on social media before you know it. But having the platform that she has...
at the end of the day, I don't even think that polo is an appropriate thing. Yes, it doesn't matter about how they raise the money. Of course, it doesn't matter how they raise the money. The money's money. But at the end of the day, it kind of is an elitist sport, and it's not a good look. A load of very elite people making some money for people in Lesotho for these orphan children with HIV. But again, it was all to do with her wanting the money to go through Archwell. That was at the crux of it. And that's been at the crux of a lot of their problems. And yeah, it's going to carry on being so until Grab and Blab pulled into line. I say revoke their titles. Unless somebody does something to put them back in their place, they're just going to carry on bullying people and paying their cyber force of SS, a very aptly named SS, whatever you call them, battalion, yeah, until they are put in their place. This is going to carry on, and sooner or later somebody will die. Somebody will actually just off themselves, because it is that bad. I remember when it was at its height last year, because what they didn't understand is I was still grieving my husband as it was, and I was obviously every day I was faced with a child that was grieving as well, but none of that matters. They're all men, and they all really loved bullying the shit out of me, and I know 100%, had I not had a child, there was a particular point last year, it's probably the worst part of it, had I not had a child, I would have just done something and gone to sleep. I wouldn't have had any reason to be here. So I do know what it feels like to have the full force of a load of people on your back and there's only you and you can't defend yourself. Especially me, you know what I'm like technologically. I've had a learning trajectory this year, and I'm sort of a little bit more skilled than what I was when it started. But I can't remember that last year. Then it would have been heaven for me to just go to sleep and not have to ever wake up again and ever put up with any of this. It's that bad. It's absolute hell. They put my house on there, they dug into my past, they got my postcode, they made videos about me. I was going to see my grandson's Babs. Excuse Babs, she's going mental. I know, we're not talking about the megalite. Grab and blab. No, don't do that, Babs. That's it, Babs is off. We're not talking about grab and blab. We're talking about Sophie and me. We're talking about me, Gerty. Yeah, so, I was in a queue waiting to go and see my grandson in a play last summer. It's some play about Africa, conversely. They sang the song by Africa, you know, the song, I see the planes down in Africa. Do you remember that song? I can't remember how it went, but anyway. And it was all about Nelson Mandela and all this, that and the other, yeah? And I was sat there, and I obviously had my phone on silent, because it was and it was just full up of people texting me and messaging me to let me know that grown men had made a video about me. I'd had death threats because I dared to do a parody, and they thought that was, I definitely deserved to die for that, definitely. And they made some big video about me, calling me all sorts of names, and getting other people that were not very well in the head to come across and give me death threats. And so when I woke up in the following morning, I had all these death threats. I don't know who you are, I don't know where you live, but I'm going to hunt you down and give you the beating you deserve. I'm going to find you, I'm going to kill you. All this, I had all of this, yeah. And the people were people that I should have been quite worried about to start with, because they're all men. I was scared to go outside my front door. I didn't know who these people were. Obviously, one by one, I then found out who they were, where they live, and their names and everything, but would never do to them what they've done to me. It's just despicable the way they think it's okay to behave like this. And that's the same with the Sussex Squad. But they are sanctioned by Grab and Blab. You see? They really are. Whereas the lot that do it to other YouTubers, they just do it out of jealousy, and they did it because they could. They did it because they could. One of them has backtracked since then. I mean, one of them tried to have me arrested, another one tried to take me to court, and I was the victim. But because I dared to try to stand up for myself, I dared to try to defend myself, they had to take me down. They had to ruin me. They had to wreck my life, which they pretty much consistently did. They did. It's not very nice being every single day thinking, what have they printed about you today? What have they put up there? What have they accused you of? All sorts of nonsense they put up there. I think I was my dead mother-in-law for a few weeks, and they were crowing over the fact that my name wasn't really the name that I had. It was another name. Just idiots. And a lot of the information they come up with, because I know better, I just look at it and just laugh, because it is just incredible, just completely off whack. But you know, I think there's an old saying, something about every dog having its day. And obviously I'm a dog and I've had my day, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, and I think those dogs will have their day, and I think that I'm going to buy popcorn, because until Harry and Grab and Blab denounces them, I really, really don't want to hear anything about how sad their life is anymore. I literally do not care. I don't want to know. We're not interested. These are vile, vicious, virulent people, and it's about time the royal family started doing something about the way they allow these people to conduct themselves and still call themselves royals. Yeah, and put themselves above us. be elite, but more elite than any other elite, apparently. So elite that they can get a president to say something, or a senator in America to come out and speak and defend the market. It's always about defending the market. Defending the market from what? Defending the market from her own actions and her own words and her own deeds. You know? Why doesn't somebody tell her to grow the flip up? That would be a brilliant idea, wouldn't it? And then none of us here would have any content or have anything to say. But no, every day we're going to be treated to this. And they have got the same mindset as the obsessed cyber terrorists that I've suffered from, because I know each of their mindsets. I know who each of them are. I know where they live. I know what their birth dates. I know who their family are. I know what their children's names are and how old their children are. I know everything about them. But unlike them, I wouldn't put it all over the net. But I've got a picture of them that I know how they think and what they think and why they think the way they think, you see. And it's my understanding them that I didn't brown bread myself. I'm still here, which is good, isn't it, really? But I can tell you, yeah, I got that low because it was overwhelming to have so many men on you. And then actually I found out that 2 of the people that I thought were men, because they were really, really, really vicious and scarily vicious, weren't men, they were women, but the other ones were men. And I'm actually welling up thinking about it. So 2 of them were women, but the rest were men. And there's one that he still would like to inject himself into a lot of trouble, so I just steer clear of him. And another one that wanted me to take my videos down because it was affecting his business. And so, but I wouldn't do that. I didn't do that. I've changed the wording so that he can't be necessarily his sensibilities hurt. Although they didn't think twice about doing it to me. I've got all the memes, I've got all the screenshots, I've got everything where they've called me every name under the sun. And at no time did they ever think she's there, an old woman with a young child, and they're both bereaved. They didn't ever think that. Just like what they're doing to Fiona at the moment. They don't think, oh, she just buried her husband a few weeks ago. She spent 2 years watching the man she loved die, very slowly die, whilst trying every day to help him live. And she's probably in some sort of trauma that hasn't even hit her quite yet. They don't think that. No, they're still up there. Fiona this, Fiona that, Fiona this. And I won't say all the disgusting, rude, filthy words they call her. They're just absolutely, it's not even heartless. They're psychos. They're just psychopathic and jealous and bitter beyond bitter. Because obviously I've had a man love me. I've had a fair few men be in love with me and love me in my life. And so has the other YouTuber I've mentioned. And so has the male YouTuber. And so has Wally. And so has all these people. We've had rounded lives. And then when you go in on these people's lives, they have no lives. And any partner they've had, right, they've fucked them off. You know, they've left them for some reason or other. They've buggered off. And you think, well, I wonder why they left them, because they're bloody horrible people. Whereas with Grab and Blab, I think they've met each other and they are, like she said, salt and pepper. They do go together. But I still think she'll leave him before he leaves her. Yeah. And it's just a very, very poisonous mindset, and very disturbed individuals that have got nothing better to do with their day than just hound people up until, including on their deathbed. So, yeah, I really feel sorry for Dr. Sophie Chanduka. I really do. I pity her. But she's I don't want to sort of buoy it off by saying, like I was about to say, she's a strong woman, because that's what people said to me, you're a strong woman. There's only so much you can be strong. And after a while, it just gets too much, if you get me. I mean, putting pictures up and mocking my husband, who was dead. He died of cancer. You know, I mean, who even does that? And they did it, tagged me in, knowing that I was going to see, or pretty confident that someone would send it to me. And of course, people did. People glorified in sending it to me, until I said to people, don't. Whatever you do, don't. You're not doing me any service. I don't want to know what they've said. Don't tell me what they've said. And even now I get people saying, oh, they've made this video about you. I don't watch them. I don't listen. I don't view them. They're blocked. You can hide them from your channel, right? So that you don't know what they're doing. And you just steal their oxygen, let them get on with it, because they are oxygen thieves after all. So just thieve a bit back. Anyway, I'm off. And, full score to Dr. Chanduka. I'll always support her, and I know everybody out here supports her as well, because she isn't the underdog, but she's being painted as the underdog at the moment. Really, she's the person they should be sat down and listening to, because she's the one with the intelligence, the brains, the knowledge, and the skill set that the Marklet hasn't got and will never have, even if she lives to be 100. And let's face it, that will be in 52 years come August, won't it, darlings? Bye-bye now.